My next guest got a huge fight coming up here against Calvin Kattar, UFC Fight Night, February 15th. This is going to be a good one. It's Youssef Zalal, live from physical therapy right now. Youssef, how you doing, man?
We got to keep the engine straight, So they rushing me now, but so I stay professional.
There you go. And you're a busy guy, so I appreciate you doing this during physical therapy today. But let's talk about Calvin Kattar, man. I know you wanted a ranked opponent next. Did you think you would get a guy like him? Because Kattar's obviously a pretty big name in the weight class.
No, 100%. Like I said in the interviews before, I was just ready to fight anybody. I really didn't care. I was expecting, to be honest, I was not expecting like not even a ranked guy. So I was like in my head, I was like, okay, like this is like what we wanted anyway, right? So now it's time to show out, and then obviously to get Calvin Kattar, man, like one, I'm a huge fan. That's the number one thing. So the inner child in me of like, oh my god, like I'm fighting Calvin, you know what I mean? And then obviously the professionalism in me, I'm like, okay, let's get to work now. This is the biggest fight of my career.
Yeah, it's an amazing fight. And obviously coming up here on the 15th. Did you want to fight on that Saudi card though? Because that's obviously like a week or two before. And because I know you like fighting in the Middle East, obviously for your audience.
Yeah, for sure, man. I wanted to, especially with Ramadan. Ramadan was kind of be in the end of March or like February 1st. So I was gonna be willing to like go and obviously just build up my like who I am and my brand and all that stuff. So especially fighting in an Arab country and all that stuff, and I was gonna stay there and then bring my family to the Mecca and everything. So that was gonna be awesome. But obviously everything happens for a reason, man, and I'm just here with it.
Yeah, for sure. And getting to fight Calvin Kattar doesn't get much better than this. So
I mean, I'm about to say, man, I was like,
yeah.
you never know. Maybe we would have fought in February 1st and we would not even get a ranked guy. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
to get to fight on a guy like that, and my goal is obviously to headline in 2025. So to go beat a guy like that and then go headline, see, that'll be amazing.
Yeah. Let's talk about Calvin. Obviously, he's a striker, one of the best boxers in the division. How are you looking at this fight? Because you can do a bit of everything. Calvin, he's got some ground as well, too. But how are you looking at this fight stylistically?
Like you said, man, it's a powerful striker. He's a big for the weight class as well. You know what I mean? So he has the size on him. So I'm just excited for the puzzle, man. Like you said, I'm a well-rounded fighter, and I'm excited to put all my skills together. But a lot of people don't know my striking that well. So I feel like if I get the opportunity to show it, I show it. If not, obviously it's an MMA fight. So we'll see where the fight goes. But I'm super excited for this puzzle, man. I'm very excited.
What did you make of his last fight against Aljamain Sterling? Sterling was able to just sort of, put him against the cage, take him down and all that, sort of implement a wrestling game plan. Do you think that's, not to say that you'll do that in the fight, but did you feel like that was, a way that seems like there's a path to victory there? It seems like Kattar might be a little bit slower now. Like, how do you sort of assess him based off his last couple fights?
I mean, you got to give credit to Aljamain, man. Aljamain is a high-level grappler and a high-level wrestler. So, and I think what's his name, Cato, was not worried about the striking. He was mostly worried about the grappling. So he kind of forgot to let his hands go. You know what I mean? Which is understandable, man. That division, man. You got the Mozov and Aljamain and all those guys. Like you have to be well-rounded and ready. You know what I mean? So yeah, obviously everybody in the outside be like, well, that's the easiest way to go. I'm like, guys got to remember, like that's a lot of energy try to hold a guy like that and like really just make it as boring fight as you can, but also winning. That's what's most important in the sport now these days. But I'm not here just to win. I want to perform and finish the guy and be the first guy to finish Calvin. So that's my goal, and that's what I'm going for.
Camp, how's that going at Factory X? Who've been some of the main guys you're working with, helping you get ready for this one?
Oh, it's been crazy, man. I've been like nonstop grinding, man. Like this Tuesday, I sparred with Justin Gaethje. I have AY Young, obviously. I have Unama coming in back next week.
Yeah.
So there's a
He's
lot.
got
of
a
guys,
big fight
man.
against Chikaze.
Yeah, so me and him are both fighting for rankings now. So this is exciting for us and for the team, man, to bring that energy. And I'm the first fight of the whole year for the whole team. So I'm pretty pumped, man.
That's awesome. So you mentioned you're working with Justin Gaethje. I guess they're opening up a bit of cross training now for you guys at Factory X, because I believe before you guys mainly had to just train with each other. So that seems something new at the gym, right?
Yeah, Mark is doing that, man, and it's like trying to evolve our team, and I'm trying to push these guys obviously as well, and I want to get the push as well. So to get to go with the top 10 or top 5 lightweight, and probably one of the best lightweights that you can ever train with. So that's an experience itself, you know what I mean? And to get the pleasure and I'm just grateful for it, you know what I mean?
Yeah. How does that all get worked out? Is that you reaching out to Gaethje? Is coach reaching out to Gaethje? Like, and is he coming to Factory X, or are you going to his gym?
No, Mark gets all that done. He was at Factory X. He came to Factory X.
Oh, wow. Because I know you trained with Sandhagen too. He came there as well, right? Which is just so
Yeah,
weird
so
in like 2025, like that this is even a thing. Because I know Colorado's pretty friendly, but I don't ever remember hearing of any elevation guys going and training at your gym. So it's awesome that it's opened up that way.
yeah, and he's the one who does it, man. Like Mark last fight with Jack Shore, I sparred Corey in my last hard sparring,
Mhm.
and then I did 3 rounds with him. So I think it's the same thing with this fight. I think I got Gaethje last week of my sparring because we
Mhm.
stopped like 2 weeks before the fight. So that's gonna be my last week with him, and then we'll go from there.
Spill the beans. Is Gaethje fighting Dan Hooker? Did you get any insight on that?
I don't know, man. I'm trying to like get like asked, but I'm like, in a way, I'm like, man, I don't want to bother the guy. I feel like he gets asked all these questions all the time. So I was
Right.
like,
Yeah.
I just go in, man. I was like, man, it's an honor to just go with you and spar with you. You know what I mean? So I just take it in. Like again, I had to control my inner child. You know what I mean? As a fan, I'm like, oh my god, like I'm going like this is Gaethje. You know what I mean? And so for me, I just kind of like keep it, just be grateful and just blessed, man.
Your corner, that looked the same, probably Mark Montoya. And I know Cody Brundage is doing some coaching too, although he has a fight booked as well. So what's your corner going to look like?
He's gonna be the same. He's gonna be in my corner, like same as the Jack Shore fight. So it's gonna be Cody, Mark, and Busy, my jiu-jitsu coach.
Awesome. And weight cut's going well. We still got some time before this one. Actually, it's going to be less than a month as of today. So
Yeah, man, your boy's been getting some weight. I don't know if I feel like I just graduated high school or something. I'm out here finally getting some weight, but
mhm.
yeah, it's definitely been good, man. So I had to talk to my nutritionist Tyler and get everything together, and then it's been going well, man.
You're with Tyler Minton?
Yeah, I've been with him, bro. I've been with him for like 20 fights.
Yeah, he's awesome. Can't say enough good things about Tyler. Doesn't get the recognition, but that's kind of how he is. He's like the secret assassin that if you know him, but he's not one of these guys out there who's making it like about himself, which I always really like. So he's
Yeah, man, I feel like the same way. Like I like those guys. Like I don't want to the guys that brag and this and that.
the
Like
celebrity
you
weight
know when
cutter guys,
somebody's good. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You know when somebody's good. Like they just do the work, and that's Tyler is one of those guys. Like he's one of the smartest guys I ever met in my life when it comes to nutritionists. I don't think I ever met a guy like him.
Calvin Kattar's never been knocked out in the UFC, as far as I remember. How's this one
He's
playing
never
out?
been submitted.
Never
Too,
been
either.
submitted, never been finished. I should have just started with that. That would have made
The
things
only
easier.
finish was by an accident. Is a freak accident when his knee.
Oh,
So
the knee
technically, I
thing.
don't
Yeah,
even
that's
call
right.
that a
You're right.
finish.
You're right. Arnold Allen. Yeah, you're right. I
I don't
remember
even
that.
call
Yeah.
that finish. And
Yeah.
before the UFC, he got submitted one time.
Yeah. So I'm gonna
So
throw it to you again. How's the fight playing out on February 15th?
listen, man, I'm throwing out there like I told you, man. I'm not here to go get a boring decision and all this stuff. I want to go out there and finish, and I'll be the first guy to finish Calvin.
There you go. Didn't even hesitate. So that's how I know you're serious. Either that or you rehearsed it. But either way, it's good. It's good.
Listen,
I like
bro,
it.
yeah,
Yeah.
we like I told this before, and I told you guys
You
like
have.
even the
Yeah.
Jack Shore. I think I told you in the Jack Shore fight, didn't I?
Yeah. Yeah. You did. Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm like, bro, it's like you got to put like it's the pressure. Like, hey, you're going with a guy that's 30 fights deep professionally that's only been finished once outside the UFC. And then two, it's like you see all the high level he fights and couldn't do it. So you go do it. It changes your whole life. And that's what I'm here to do. I want to change my life and my family's life.
I know. I kind of know which way you're going on the fights this weekend, but got to ask again, anyways. Umar, Merab. What do you make of that fight? Because I think that's going to be competitive, but I do see Umar winning. I think you're on the same side here.
I don't know, bro. I don't think he's gonna be that competitive.
No, you think Umar's
I
going to
really
just
don't.
dominate him?
I really do believe that. I really do believe Umar. It's like I look at it. It's like styles make matchups, right?
Right.
And I think the style of Umar that brings in is gonna be too much for
Merab.
Merab. Merab does really good with strikers, but
Mhm.
you have a grappler that can take you down. Also knows jiu-jitsu, like a really good grappler. So
Mhm.
I really think Umar is gonna shine, and he might might make it look easy.
Okay. I'll take your word. I mean, I'll take your word for it over mine. But I just think that like Merab, he's tough to finish, right? Like we've seen even Marlon Moraes like throw the kitchen sink at him, and he still survives. And then that pace, like I do wonder. Like I think we can agree that Umar has not fought a guy that has the pace of Merab, so that could be an interesting
No,
thing later, right? So
100%. And I
yeah.
think like you got to see how the grappling exchanges goes. If the grappling exchanges go and Umar like gets on top and really control and hold, that's gonna determine the fight, right? But
Okay.
I feel like if he can do nothing about it and Marab takes him down, because Marab is really good at the cage wrestling,
Yeah, he is. Yeah.
really good. So I'm definitely excited to see how they figure each other out.
Okay. And then the main event, do you feel the same way, or do you think that, like, in terms of it being an easier fight, or do you think Arman will make it competitive with Islam in the lightweight title fight?
I think with Arman is always a competitive fight. You know,
Yeah.
you can't doubt that. But man, I don't think I seen a guy that's well rounded in Islam, bro. That's a
Yeah.
scary guy. Like that's like a motivation, man, to go and see that high level at such a high level. And shit, it makes me want to go to Dagestan for 2 months, I swear. But
Yeah.
yeah, man, the striking and then the wrestling is a lot, man. So I go with Islam on this one. Like, but man, Armando, you seen the shape that he looks in?
Oh
Oh my
yeah.
god.
Yeah. Yeah. We talked about this being a big fight for you because obviously Kattar's a big name in the division. If you kind of look at the trajectory, Aljamain Sterling beats Kattar. He gets Evoyev for like a, kind of a title eliminator almost. Do you see the same thing potentially happening here? Like if you beat Kattar, do you feel like you could be close to that contender spot with a win, especially a finish?
100%. Like you said, it's all matters how you perform. Like I didn't get this opportunity by going decisions and all that. Like I got this opportunity by winning three in a row, obviously finishing in three in a row. So I'm very grateful for that. So that yeah, obviously you go perform, you change your whole life, man. It's like you go in and be like, all right, yeah, we're talking about a title eliminator, or we're talking about one wave main event and then title, or maybe two fights. Who knows? But I'm just excited and I'm ready for 2025, and I'm just ready to solve all these puzzles they send my way.
One of your past opponents, we got to mention him because he's the champ right now, Ilia Topuria. There's some talk about him maybe moving up because his coach did an interview recently saying, he cuts too much weight and it might not work for him. And I don't know, that could be a negotiation tactic. But any part of you worried that you're not going to get that rematch because you're one of the few guys that have gone the distance with him when you two fought?
There's only two guys that went the distance,
Yeah.
me and Emmett.
Yeah.
And no, man, I'm fighting that guy. I'm fighting the rematch. And if I have to go to 55, I will go to 55.
Okay. Interesting. Do you think he moves up now though, or do you think that's all a marketing thing or like a
I
payday
don't
thing?
think so. I think he's gonna stay at 45.
Okay. And do you think Volk's next? I mean, it certainly seems that way if they're talking. I mean, there's the rumor out there, Diego Lopez and Rodriguez. Avoyev's
I
still out
think
there.
so.
Yeah.
I think so. I think they own it to Volk, obviously. Bro, that guy was 16-0 in featherweight, man.
That's,
And he was like
I'm
one of
glad
the
you're saying that
goats.
because one of the things that annoys me with a lot of newer fans is like, look, would Volk, is he going to win the rematch with Topuria? Probably not, but you have to reward fighters for having title defenses. That's something a lot of new fans are like, on to the next one. But it's like with Volk, like, think about it. He had how many years of being the champ? I feel the same way. Like, I think
Dominant,
just out
too.
of, yeah, exactly. I think just out of like what he's done for his career, he should get that rematch next. And people talk about Avoyev, he could fight the winner. Like, what's the big deal? Why can't he wait a little bit longer to have that fight? That's kind of where I feel,
100%.
Yeah.
100%. I agree with you 100%. I feel like, you know how this sport is, man. These guys like always want to be like, oh my God, you suck. You're this. Why should he get it? Give it to the younger guy. Give it to
Yeah.
this. I'm like, bro, like look at what the guy done for the division. He's 16-0. Like
Yeah.
who's done that? You know, Ilya just started. You know what I mean? He's defending his second belt for the first time. Second time. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So to go in and be like, yeah, the guy deserves all the things that he's done, and he's waking up the division. He's showing the division like, hey, sure, the younger guy's coming up, but also you got to respect the work that he done to get there.
Yeah, I completely agree. Although saying all that, I still someday hope we get to see Ilya and Islam. Like that would be such a good fight.
That'll be dope fight. I would love to watch that. I'll go to the arena. I'll be ready to watch it.
Yeah, I think we all will. Youssef, thanks for doing this. I'll let you get back to physical therapy. Anyone you want to thank before we get out of here? Sponsors, social media, you name it. The floor is yours.
Nah, thank you, my man. Thank you for having me as always, man. And shout out to the fans, man, that stick with me, and shout out to the new fans as well, man. I can't wait to go out there and show the well improved Yusuf again. So I'm very excited.